All right. So, hi there, everybody. We're getting ready to start the championship match for season 16 of the Dominion
16.
League. Thank you all for watching. Um, I am Mick, and I have Dan
Dan
here,
over
and
here.
Infinite Hitbox as well. So,
Hello.
good luck to Steph and Gamesu.
So this board looks pretty strong.
Yeah, we've got goons and a draw and a village, so
And
that's
Chapel.
and really good trashing. So.
So you got to figure they're going to open Chapel and end up on Goons. And the real question is, what are they going to do in the meantime? Like in the building stages.
Right.
It's like
So
Steph opens Marauder.
yeah, I could I could see skipping or playing with Marauder here. Um,
Yeah, I could see Silver, Marauder, or Armory openings potentially.
so you don't. All right, right. With paired with the chapel.
Paired with Chapel, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree. I don't. I probably wouldn't do the armory, but I I
Probably
often
not.
get burned on that. So um,
Yeah. I think in the last match there was a board where Steph made really good use of armory. I mean, it could have been a match against you. I'm not sure. Oh,
probably.
Game Sue goes for it. So it looks like Steph collides his Chapel with his Marauder, which isn't great, but it's not a huge
Yeah,
deal.
it's not. It's not as bad as the chapel missing. Um,
That's
and games who also collides his openings. So
hmm So kind of medium openings for both players here.
yeah, yeah, they'll want to. Well, I mean, the first five, I guess, depending on how your chaplain has gone, could be an apprentice, but is more likely to be a lab. Um,
hmm
I think pretty soon when you hit four, you just start taking the walled villages, um, and
But
just
it's
just count on the trash and eventually getting you to five.
mhm. It looks like Steph bought nothing on three, which is interesting.
Yeah, I would have to know exactly how many silver he has, but I can see it at this stage even.
hmm See, he goes down to two. Okay. Looks like Steph wants to get really, really thin, which is totally reasonable on a board with stuff like Artificer and Armory.
Yeah. I don't know how much artificial will come into play with the goons
With the goons,
hurting
yeah.
the hand size, but
hmm
and also there aren't so many things to gain. Uh, there aren't too many cheap cards, you know.
Yeah, you might get one just because it's a peddler, and if if it ever comes up that you're overdrawing a little bit, you could gain an extra moat
Yeah,
or something.
yeah,
But it's certain Goons is certainly the dominant end game here.
yeah. And I imagine you would always take labs until those are gone over artificers,
hmm
unless you were just way ahead and thought you might be able to get a lab out of your artificer, but that would be a little hard to do.
So it looks like Steph has the first six of the game here,
And
and
he's
he goes with
taking
the
a
left.
lab, um, which he's still not that trashed yet, so I'm sure that's his reason. Although here he's getting,
Yeah, so now here he hits five. Eight. Oh, what
he's
was
only
that?
just taking a walled village here.
Interesting. Okay.
Um,
If he drew the Wild Village, he could actually Marauder and draw the spoils in the same turn.
mm-hmm.
It's interesting that no runes have actually come out of play here.
Yeah, he hasn't played the Marauder yet.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think
Oh, he
it's the
moded it. Oh, I
he
see.
keeps moding it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. He'll
This hand hurts Game Su a lot, not drawing the walled village. Um,
absolutely. Yeah.
Otherwise, he'd be in pretty reasonable shape.
So Steph might want an armory here just because it's so efficient at gaining the walled villages. Could also see a case for just like chopping two copper and getting really thin. See what he goes with. He could also just get a walled village. A lot of choices here. So you have to figure that this hand is going to be a pretty huge for Steph because he's able to draw his deck maybe a
Right.
full turn, maybe even 2.5 turns before game set.
Hmm.
One thing that's nice for games is that he already has the moat in his deck, so if Steph does get a lead in goons, at least the hand size attack won't hurt as much.
Yep.
So Steph went with the walled village.
I don't know if Game Su takes anything here with this three. Okay, he gets a silver.
Silver, interesting.
Um,
I would,
I wonder if Steph will trash and take lab rather than the goons right now. We'll see.
yeah, I think he has a lab on top, so he could go a little bit wide here. And he also has, I think Goons is good just with the lab on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. Nothing's really too risky. His deck's small. Um, Game Su, I'd say the only thing Game Su has going for him is that he might be able to take the walled village split
Hmm.
with the armory. And other than that, he's in a pretty bad
Yeah,
situation.
it's pretty tough. He might be able to go because he sort of needs like he could try and pick up some moats and some labs and maybe one copy of Goons and go a little bit wide.
Yeah,
Because but
I think that'll just get snowballed, or not snowballed, but at the end, just
yeah, like Steph has complete control over his deck here, whereas Gamesu is sort of at the mercy of the shuffles.
right.
Hmm.
Game Su, if I were Game Su, I think I would trash one copper here and take a lab. So he trashed
Trash.
two coppers, which
So
is
he's really going for the walled village split,
yeah.
which is interesting.
Um,
Um,
I mean, Steph will take him here. Does Steph have 8 here?
yeah, he does. He has
I would not be surprised if he didn't trash and took two walled villages,
sits like two walled villages, and then he has three,
which is plenty.
which is that's enough to play like four goons, which
Yeah.
should be plenty to pile like all walled villages and maybe a couple other things. I guess you could even like buy moats and trash them
Yeah.
if you really need to. That cuts up a goons play.
And that would let him play 5 goons, not 4, because if he has 4 villages, then he can.
Oh, how many villages does he have now?
Oh, I thought he had a couple of villages, but I could be wrong.
Oh, okay.
I don't. I'm not sure.
Oh, I think he might have had two, yeah. Well, okay, we can see now that he has three in hand. So he's 3 or 4.
Yeah. If GameStop draws his deck, then we'll know. He didn't though, so.
Hmm.
um,
I'm not sure Game 2 can, because he has one moat.
yeah, but how many of those remaining cards are cantrips?
He has a lot of
He has a lot of
villages.
walled villages, so the moat. I think with the moat, he actually could have. I don't really care for the Marauder for him at this point.
Yeah, I feel like he's getting desperate
Like,
here.
I would have just armoried a moat in that situation.
Hmm.
Yeah, see, Steph has 4 of them.
Steph is 4. Oh, that's gonna be pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, I mean, I think this game is probably decided already.
In the finals, I would play it out for at least a few more turns. Wait for Steph to, like show that he's gonna buy 3 or 4 goons. But it's
Yeah,
looking pretty grim for game 2.
yeah. I don't. I mean, Steph won't mess it up, but it's certainly not a thing you have to resign. Um, but
So I wonder. I think like moat goons are just. Hmm, suppose you could also trash the copper by. I think you need to get a bunch of goons. Steph's looking at lab.
trash. I mean, I think he still draws it if he trashes copper and buys a goons, right? So
He
because
is.
GameStop doesn't have a goons yet, so
Game 2 doesn't have goons, so if he does that, he has 6.
uh,
Yeah, so if you go moat goons, then I think you draw a deck exactly, because you have 7 payload cards and you have the lab and the moat, which each draw you an extra card.
did Steph go first in this game?
With Steph did go first, I believe.
Okay, yeah, I guess it's right there in the log. Um, okay,
Yeah, Steph did go first, according to the log as well.
Steph
Okay, so
takes a moat now, which
Steph goes goons moat. I like that because it'll draw a deck exactly. And so next turn he has 10. Let's see what games do. Yeah, I think. Okay, so
he'll
games
also
do.
get to block the Marauder GameStop plays.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he still can't afford a lab. Well, he can with his abandoned mine.
It would have been really, really cute, actually, if Steph had elected to, like, overdraw his deck by 1 and take the abandoned mine to hit some price point.
Yeah,
But you probably don't want an abandoned mine in your deck, so revealing moat is going to be pretty good.
I think if I were GameStop now, I would. Well, he can afford to take a moat with the armory, but um, the he should buy a
Seriously.
lab here.
Yeah, I gotta imagine. He really wants, like, he really needs a goons.
Yeah, I mean he
Oh,
can get one next turn probably, but
I guess Apprentice. Like, so suppose you play like Apprentice Armory for draw. Oh, is he going for Apprentice? That seems really ambitious. It does work with Armory. I suppose you can game Marauders and trash them.
yeah, but that's a lot of work for not a lot of draw.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Like, so if you play Armory, you gain a card. I'm trying to figure out if it,
Like what? How
how,
many
how-
cards it nets you?
yeah, like if you know you're drawing Apprentice Armory, is it actually better than Lab? I'm not going to do the math, but
I mean it's terminal in some
yeah, it
sense.
is.
Um,
So you have like, how does Apprentice Armory Walled Village compare to Lab? How many labs is it?
well, you only draw. You use 2 cards to draw 4 cards. It's the same as
Two
2
labs.
labs plus an action. So it's just a lot worse than 2 labs.
Right, but
Not, I mean they're not the same cost,
right, but
but
he
Uh,
right now he doesn't have like it's with that buy it's one apprentice versus one lab, and he already has an armory that he probably doesn't want to gain stuff with now.
yeah,
Otherwise,
right.
yeah.
He's out of villages
He
to
can.
ward, so
He'll be able to play it on the chapel once and the armory once, um, but it will kind of run out of targets.
Dumb. Unless he might want to hang on to the armory then, so he can just keep gaining marauders on top of his deck.
Yeah.
Steph goes 10, and he went lab artificer. Okay, that's cute. And that does.
I'm not sure of the artificer.
If he gains. Well, so the artificer does give him 1 coin, which lets him go lab goons next turn,
Okay.
which is nice.
that would have been the price point to take the abandoned mine for. So we could have done it this turn. Not that it was actually good, but
Okay, so games to. He's eyeing that apprentice. So he gets rid of the silver. The wall village. Yeah, I think one thing with this board is there's so many good 5s and 6s that taking the Marauder less for the attack, which is normally what you take it for, and more for the the temporary gold, which helps you spike 5 and 6,
Right.
might actually be smart.
well, how much
It's
do you
just a
think
qu-
that
it's
played
just a-
into Steph getting ahead earlier? Because he took the Marauder at the beginning and then was able to get
And
hit
then
5
was able
way
to-
beforehand.
Yeah.
Steph
But
had a pretty nice build path.
it
here.
is delayed
is,
versus
yeah, absolutely.
versus a silver. So it's not clear to me that
It is better than
it's
silver.
better. I mean, you buy a couple silvers, and you're trashing some with chapel. It's not hard to get to 5. The 6 is a little harder, but with a lab then in your deck, then that's not too
But then
hard
if you-
either.
Yeah, it's still not clear to me whether Armory, Marauder, or Silver is the best opening here. I think there are arguments for all three.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
funny, we
yeah.
never really learned what the answer to these questions are either, because we don't do we don't do repeated play of kingdoms, so
Mhm.
you just never know.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to do some sort of event where there's like repeated play.
It would be interesting to try it out at least.
Yeah, let's see. So Steph, I think he's hitting 11 here, 12 if he keeps the mine, which I don't think he will.
No, I mean 11 should be
He
perfect
can
for him.
trash the mine. And yeah, probably just Goon's Lab. He's looking at actually trashing a copper. Wow.
Hmm.
What's he buying on 10? Is he going lab?
I guess so. I mean, it's either that or like
Lab Artificer?
Lab
But again, I think
Artificer.
you only want one Artificer.
it may
That's
be
right.
more of a thing where he knows
Oh.
he won't dud, and he doesn't actually need to. He's ahead on that front already, on the goons front.
Very conservative.
Um,
So
though this
SCSM
turn, if he wants goons lab, he will have to take either the abandoned mine or gain a copper with his artificer.
So SCSN is in chat, trolling you a little bit. He says Mick making the case for silver. How surprising!
I gotta
Uh,
stay loyal.
Stay loyal to the silver camp. And SCSN is saying that is asking if Gamesu should still stand a chance because he has more villages.
I think the
Possibly.
piles
I think-
will be empty.
I think the piles are gonna run.
Yeah, I mean the labs will be gone, and enough of the goons will be gone
hmm
that Steph could empty them. So it's not
Yeah.
going to get to a point where Gamesu gets to play 6 goons for two turns or whatever that he needs to catch up.
Yeah, I absolutely because yeah, because the draw is limited enough here that he needs moats and labs, and if he gets the moats and labs, then Steph at that point will be able to pile
Yeah.
something like possibly even like moats and ruins or labs and moats or something.
Right. Yeah. The ruins will also
So
probably
it's
be
going to
low.
be really hard for Game Suit to get up to there, and the goons could even be running low at that point.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I was thinking at the bare minimum, the labs and the goons
hmm
could run, and
And it's interesting that Artificer, you can actually just gain a rune for free with it, so that gives you an extra buy for piles.
yep. It's a double lab for. Nope, he takes the goons. I'm not sure he's gonna. I'm not sure GameStew's gonna get to play that goons. That's one thing that people do a lot is they add more goons before they can actually play, before they actually have the draw to consistently play the extra goons.
Yeah. You can see Steph here. Maybe actually one of the reasons why he got the 2 labs that one turn was because if he does get goons, he's gonna need that extra draw to draw deck.
Right.
Well, he's going to be getting goons a lot more now. He only has the 1 moat, and as his deck grows, it's going to be less and less likely he has it.
Less likely, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, we weren't thinking about him being under the goons attack.
I think that was maybe a turn or two before GameStop had actually hit
Yeah.
goons.
But like the when he double labbed just now, that was
Let's see. So Steph actually gets to moat up the spoils, which is nice.
I mean, it'll be a long time, I think, even before a long time in terms of the game before GameStop will be playing all his goons consistently.
Oh, so now Steph has the choice between double trashing and abandoned mine.
I mean, GameStop still has 0 labs.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Steph has 4-0. Ooh, that's rough.
I mean, you're not gonna win playing Walled Village Moat.
Do you think Steph is thinking about Lab Artificer here? Just so he can spike 6?
I mean, I think either Lab Goons or Lab or Lab Artificer would be fine.
Well, the thing is, if he wants to trash the ruins, he has 10,
Right.
which is 5/5.
I mean, I was thinking trashing just the Rune Library and getting.
Yeah,
Lab
but he only
Goons
has
would
1
be-
action.
Oh yeah,
so,
never mind. Sorry.
So he might Lab or Lab. Yeah, he does go Lab Artificer. Okay,
So
Yeah,
next,
Lab Artificer makes him hit 11 without...
which makes him hit
Else.
11, which means he can go Lab Goons.
Mhm.
So it looks like Artificer is being played here as pretty much strictly Peddler. And Steph has a nominal 14-point lead, which isn't nothing. And more importantly, has a lead in the number of goons played every turn.
Yeah, GameStop just trashed his goons, unable to draw his deck and play them both, so...
Oh yeah.
Getting value out of this somehow.
Wow, he apprenticed his goons?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, this is
Like
totally.
you do what you do, but that's whew.
It's a version of the slow resign. Oh.
This is a
Hey, long form
well,
resign is an art form.
let's not count him totally out, but it's certainly not looking good for games. So
I guess it'll let him. I don't know how many runes he still has in his deck.
Yeah, the problem for him, of course, is that Steph just has so many labs and cantrips and stuff that it's almost impossible for Steph to do it.
I didn't
He-
know
he-
that Gamesu's chapel is gone as well.
So now, so now if he gets hit by, if he gets hit by Steph's Marauder, it's gonna hurt a bit
Right.
more now.
His
He'll need
chapel's
to-
gone, and he still has like. Well, he only has one runes right now, but the silvers aren't particularly great either.
They're okay.
He still has a couple of those.
And Apprentice, you really don't want to be using on like ruins and stuff. So you put a moat on top of his deck. He really needs to play out spoils.
So this is again, I think, really strange. To keep, he takes
Wait.
apprentice goons, but he just never. I mean, I assume he intends to like trash some of the silvers out, but
I think his plan here is to go for a mega turn where he just keeps adding goons, keeps adding apprentices, and then one turn he'll just like apprentice his armory, apprentice his marauder, and attempt to sort of like overwhelm Steph.
yeah. But to draw his deck, he has to trash goons,
Yeah.
and that so he doesn't make any forward progress on that. Steph is even considering a big artificer here, which he maybe can afford to take like a lab or something.
He could actually start doing the lab artificer thing. I don't think quite yet. He might actually go for a couple labs here just to. I guess he can take like a moat or something. But I don't think he wants to. Because he can play. Yeah, he can go like Marauder and then moat to draw it up. And then chapel his junk and play the two goons. That'll leave him with 9. Which is kind of an awkward number, actually. It's 11,
11.
actually, because he has the 2 artificers, right?
Yep.
So it's sort of like the perfect number. Although, I'm wondering if Steph is going to go. This is where the village thing is coming into play because Steph only has the 4 villages.
Yeah, but he doesn't really have to play with moats, or he won't after this turn, or the chapel necessarily.
So probably he can probably
mean,
go
he-
3 goons.
He could play. He may have to play one of them, but
Note that Steph did take a free ruin off that artificer just to run the pile.
just to trash
Which is
it.
pretty neat.
Yeah,
Good
that makes
catch.
sense. I was just gonna comment that the ruins pile is looking surprisingly low.
I mean,
So
and Gamesu has this hand. He doesn't even have a walled village in it, and he's got 30 of those. I mean, he's gonna have to apprentice the armory.
yeah, for sure. It looks like he might be having some connection issues. So let's
Yeah, the
see. He has a little timer on his screen. I'm not sure if that shows up on the main screen. Does the team viewer switch when each player is taking their turn?
no, I have it set up where there's just
Okay. It just stops. Okay. It looks like GameSu's able to continue playing cards now, which is good. Chad comments on the sick Artificer
Yeah.
Apprentice combo.
we don't have JSH here to read the board for us.
Uh-huh.
I'm lost without his wisdom.
If I need to know where to put like the plus coin or plus card token, I always consult JSH first.
This game has lasted about
Yeah, how long
half
is
an
this
hour, which is
Yep.
not crazy for a Goons game. Maybe Steph will
I feel like it's been a very
make a beeline for the labs.
slow Goons game.
Yeah, it's getting close to the point where Steph can just end it.
He
Yeah.
probably can empty the moats next turn.
Let's see. Yeah, there's only one runes left. Steph has 3 goons now, so so he needs to play. So he needs
I mean, he would
Yeah.
have to.
6 gains.
Yeah, he has it. He has 2 artificers. He can use one to
He
gain
can
the
do it if
ruined
he draws the
village.
deck.
Yeah, he would need to. So he needs +5 gains, which includes artificers, goons,
Yeah.
and marauder. If he still has his marauder in his deck and it connects, then he can do it even missing one of his gains.
Yeah, he has
5 modes
An
in
extra
the
gain.
village.
7. And if well, he probably wouldn't have that much. There go the apprentices. Yeah. It's the desperation copper. That's the
Yeah.
that's the best part of the Goons game.
Um,
So he doesn't even necessarily have to play all the Goons.
and so it
In
looks like
fact, he
games.
has it in hand, I think.
Well, he
not-
also
not
needs
quite.
to hit like 10-ish. Because Marauder will actually empty the ruins.
Right, but he can empty 2 of the moats with Artificer. So we would only need $6.
Yeah, Steph won't know whether or not the Marauder will empty the ruin, so he has to take that into consideration.
That's a good point. That's something we know. So here's
But now if he draws the Goons, then it's...
and he can draw goons because he is. I think he has exactly 2 cards in
And he
discard.
can top deck a moat as well to add a little more draw. And he would still have the terminals.
So Chris's me points out a very important feature of making fun. It's the supply piles like goons will turn red when they run down to like 3 or less or so, but the ruins pile won't.
Yeah. Is it the only one?
I have no idea.
So he can discard for moat twice.
Yeah, I have to imagine that there's some sort of win in here. I would imagine. I believe that he has 1 extra game to spare.
he's
so
doing
there
it.
should be plenty of ways.
Well, he doesn't. Well, he will with the Marauder that we know
Well,
about.
with the Marauder,
But from his perspective, he doesn't.
from his perspective, yeah. So he's probably not even going to play the Marauder.
Yeah, he also has just enough money to do it. Just buy the goons or the moats out.
But he could have got, if he had sequenced that differently, he could have picked up an estate as
Yeah.
well.
He could have had.
He could have had 1 extra point.
I mean, it's just more proof that Steph's a scrub.
Yeah,
As if-
that's
as
totally
if we
the
needed
conclusion
more.
here. Yeah, if he had played the goons first, he would have gotten that.
As if we needed more
estate.
confirmation of that fact.
Yep, absolutely. So it's theoretically possible to win 33 to 10 there. All right, so well played. That's extra win for Steph. 1 win for Steph. So game 2 actually had to. So that means that Steph is actually the
Season 16.
champion.
Yep.
Champion.
SCSN is continuing his relentless campaign of propaganda against me. one of the.
So Mick, do you know if the silver pile turns red?
I don't actually. I don't remember the green cards do. I remember seeing that. I'm not sure about the treasures.
Okay, so this looks like
Governor.
you say governor. I think that save is actually. I think envoy is actually going to be really strong here.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that sticks out to me, especially with save. You could like float. You can like float some sort of like fishing village or envoy, maybe make up for some of the inconsistency, and then
Yeah.
then I suppose you just want
Right.
to governor.
Yeah, you can play with all of that stuff.
So it looks like
GameStew's having connection troubles.
some sort of connection problem. So also important to note here. So Steph has his second start, which is fairly large advantage at this level. It'll even out, of course, in the later games. So GameStew actually opens 5-2 here.
Oh, there's also someone pointed out in the chat there's scavenger stash. So
Oh, scavenger stash.
I don't actually know if that beats the governors though.
Yeah, I have to
I'm not sure that it would.
I've certainly played scavenger stash before. If you get 3 stashes, and you can get anywhere, you can do 2 scavenger or you could do 3, depending on whether. If you play with 2 scavengers, then you can
you can whiff possibly.
technically whiff. So you get the third if it's convenient, and it's just a single province.
Steph, the most free game I ever got against Steph was a scavenger stash game.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, and you just like didn't see it.
No, he didn't see it. I played it, but has GameStrew said anything in his in the stream chat? He's just having connection. So this is just, one more joy of.
So, do you know how we get in contact with me? So I think
GameStrew was reading the Twitch stream chat.
Is reading the Twitch chat. Okay.
I think is our best bet of getting in contact with him. His team viewer is still up, so.
It looks like he's still trying to connect to the game, and it looks like Steph has quit the game. I'm not sure what league policy is on, disconnects before players have even bought the card.
Oh, we just ignore him. We'll just
It's probably just
replay it. Yeah.
It's kind of looking forward to that board. I like Envoy is much more fun online. If you've ever played like Envoy games live, it takes forever to resolve Envoy engines.
All right. GameStrew is
Restarting the client.
loading the client. He has to play on web because it always crashes the actual client on his machine. So. All right, here we go again.
All right.
We only have to deal with these crashes for a few more months.
Hopefully.
Well, the new one will have an actual reconnect. You can turn off your computer and rejoin the game still. So
has the beta started for that, or the alpha or whatever?
No, it hasn't. But they had it even in their little proof of concept thing. So
nice.
It was there from the get-go.
So this board looks interesting. So there's a bunch of powerful terminals. Oh, I was gonna say there's no village, but there's coin in the realm. Wow. Okay.
So we'll have a lot of junk, though.
Yeah, so there's a lot of junk. Scrying Pool's really powerful draw. Transmogrify is a card I'm a fan of, although it's not a lot of stuff to turn into stuff.
Yeah. There's not good. I mean, the Scrying Pool can draw through the ruins some, but
Yeah, and then if you somehow get through the junk, you can do outpost double turns. So there's a lot of power here, and there's also a lot of junk
it
between
would be
cultist and torture and stuff.
it would be pretty hard to make the outpost turns come out very often.
Hmm. Oh, because I guess like what's the trash is the only
There's
trashing
there's no
transmogrified?
I mean there's effectively
Oh
no
gosh, yeah,
trashing
there's no. Oh man, that's brutal.
because it's not, it doesn't actually decrease your deck size, and there's not even like a cantrip to turn the estates
Wow.
into.
Okay.
So I'm not sure you'll do much better than cultist big
So.
money with maybe also some torturers.
Hmm. Yeah, it just feels like there should be an engineer, but it's like really tough. So so two questions. Do you think Scrying Pool is correct? And the second question, unrelated, is do you think the players are going to play Scrying Pool anyway?
Uh, I don't think I would go for pool here,
Okay.
though. The game, yeah.
So no pool. So that cultist. Well, I guess you could like. So if you ignore pool, you can play cultist Coin of the Realm, which is actually like not bad.
Right.
And then like I guess you could mix something in, but like what do you mix in? Like
Torturers or vaults.
I mean, if you're just playing cultist, you don't need Coin of the Realm because it wouldn't do anything.
yeah,
You could play with one though, one or two.
you play one or two just to spice things up.
I guess the idea would be that I would play with a vault then, I guess, if I did play with a coin.
Yeah. So Steph is trying to talk himself into building a fancy deck here. Let's see if he does.
Unfortunately, okay, I had frozen GameStew's hand. Alright. Sorry, stream, if you wanted to look at 4 coppers and 1 estate for the past couple minutes, you missed out. DG points out that you can boost the transmogrify on the cultist is pretty nice at the
Cultist
end.
is pretty nice, yeah. Especially if you turn cultists into like torturers or something.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you are taking if you're gonna play the money, I think you want to transmogrify.
Mhm.
Estate to silver is such a nice boost in quality for that kind of deck.
Yeah, I'm really
If-
curious to see what the players elect for here.
Yeah.
And if you're missing, if you're mixing in one of the other terminals, state to coin can make you not waste a buy
Mm-hmm.
to pick it up.
Absolutely. So you have a transmogrify and a Coin of the Realm.
So Steph is going for the pools.
Mm-hmm. So this will be really interesting.
I mean, it can be one of those things where the pool, Steph is not going for as money-centric a thing, but he still may end up handing out way as much of the junk, and then
Mhm.
his deck might be okay.
Well, he's picked up 2 pools and a cultist already,
His
which
shuffles
is
have been
pretty nice. Yeah.
nice.
Because probably the biggest cost of going for a scrying pool is that if picking up a potion like has you miss 5, or if you
Yeah.
draw like 5 potion or something, that's devastating.
Yep.
But picking up the
But if on your 2 shuffles you get pool, cultist,
yeah, pool
pool,
oh,
pool,
wait,
cultist,
wait,
pool,
has he gotten
cultist.
pool cultist?
Yeah, those were his 2 shuffles.
Oh,
were
man.
were pool and cultist and pool and cultist.
And now pool again, and his next one is going to be cultist. Wow.
So he's going to end up dishing out,
Maybe he will get outpost. And
GameStew shuffles have been pretty good too, but
he has 2 transmogrifies, a ruined village, and 2 cultists right now. 3, I think. So this is sort of the problem with transmogrify. Okay, he did elect to call it, and he upgrades his rune market to a copper.
yeah.
Oh, and is he okay? So
Oh,
Game
I
Sue's.
don't. I hate Gamesu's Outpost.
I think it's too soon for Outpost.
How is he even going to play it? Does he? He has the
he
coin,
does-
right?
He has a coin on the map.
I mean, all it's he's gonna get a hand where he draws. He'll be able to buy an extra silver. I mean, that's
I think that if you're going for Outpost, you really want to pair it with something like Scrying Pool that can just, like draw up. I think that, yeah, it feels very, very early for Outpost for me.
it's really bizarre. It's just so much worse than a cultist in his deck.
Yeah, 5 cost workshop is not something.
Now he
He
adds
really
a
wants.
navigator too. This is
Well,
weird.
so now the problem that he's running into is he's not quite, like, he didn't quite hit 5 there.
I guess the navigator is a little bit better of a transmogrified target than a silver, but
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
I think the runes went pretty badly for Steph despite his
Mhm.
early buys. So
Does anyone in chat know exactly what the rune split is? Or has an educated guess? Let's see. Yeah, it does seem like Steph has had pretty insane shuffle luck.
I think, well, at the start it was, but I think maybe he hit a couple in there where he didn't
Yeah,
cycle so fast because he didn't play that many of the cultists.
and he has 3 scrying pools right now. He is drawing like quite a few cards. Well, so he has 4 of the runes in his hand right now.
Yep.
So we can get a pretty good guess of how many he has by how many he has in his next hand as well. As a lower bound. Oh, so Steph has at least 6 runes.
Yeah.
That does give some hope to Game 2 here.
Except he's making some strange buys, in my opinion.
Yeah, it feels like he's almost buying as if he has Scrying Pool. Although at this point he could just build up with Coin Torture at this point or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's his idea, but I don't see it. And I think it gives Steph time to make the pools really good, is the other thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
That's like definitely the scariest thing.
right, I mean, there's not all VP here, so if you get a reasonable number of the provinces, it's just super hard for someone to come back
Hmm.
without, like, piles just being gone by then.
Do you think Steph transmogrifies the survivors into a copper here?
Uh,
He's looking, yeah.
he doesn't seem to.
He's eyeing the cultist.
Right.
That makes his scrying pools a bit worse.
Yeah, it makes his scrambles a bit worse. Okay, it looks like he's just stacking transmogrifies. Interesting. Okay. So, okay, Gamesu upgrades his cultist into a
Torture.
torturer. Okay, probably slightly better here, particularly with the number of he has a lot of coins.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
can have some pretty good turns when he's transmogrifying cultist into torture at the beginning. I mean, he's going to get
Mhm.
additional cards and then play the torture. So
And that's actually going to put some pressure on Steph. Because if Gamesu is able to transition into a big torture engine here, Steph is gonna need to take on some curses, which do not play well with scrying pools and stuff. So he's got some pressure here.
I wonder how consistent he'll be is the only thing, but
Hmm.
I mean, it felt like he was ahead. This feels like to me, but I could be wrong, that he isn't pushing his advantage in the way that his deck was currently built for, or was built for when he won the Ruin split big. It's like backtracking a bit.
So you would have liked to see him try and start taking provinces.
I would have done it very,
Quickly.
very simply, I guess,
Mhm.
is my inclination. But, or I can see, I guess there's just a few things. It's not so far off. I can see adding a coin or two and one or the other fives, but not the outpost particularly. And not spend a lot of time on the other stuff before turning to provinces.
Yeah, I'd be. I kind of figured that they were going to play engine. I'm wondering.
Steph has a million transmogrifies, but they're never going to. They can't turn anything. The bad cards he has, there's nothing for them to turn into.
Yeah, well, he does have a bunch of bad transmogrifies he can turn into like torturers.
Yeah.
Because how does Steph actually get his coin of the realms? Is he still has 3 estates, right? So he can turn those into coins.
Yeah.
Because one nice thing with this outpost, credit where credit's due, is it means that GameStop is able to pick up loads of coin of the realms.
That's true. 3-card hand can let you get the 2s fine.
And so GameStop actually has a 2 province lead here.
The other thing is, you can push the end of the game so fast with transmogrifies by milling provinces.
So if you check Twitch chat, Shad says that I'm actually your dad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I read that. I try not to. If you spend time acknowledging Shad's comments, then that's
It's kind of dangerous.
that's
Son.
a hole you'll never
Yeah.
escape from.
Uh-huh. I think there was definitely one message in chat today that I read and decided not to respond to, like consciously. But that one was just too good. So pile's getting kind of low. There's 3 coins left, and you got to figure that the players are going to want to continue to take those. 6 provinces, and the other piles are actually looking sort of healthy for the time being. There's 4 cultists, which the players don't really want at this point. 7 torturers, 5 transmogrifies, still 5 pools.
I think.
So it's looking like the provinces might run.
Yeah, I was
here.
gonna say I think we'll get them 2 provinces. GameSu can mill them with his transmogrifies.
Yeah, and that's a 3-0 lead for him, which is nice. So here he can mill one, and there's no alt VP to speak of,
Yeah.
and very limited plus buy. I think you need to play Rune Market.
Yeah, I didn't really track the rune markets to see. Steph
I'm
has
not-
1, I think, at least, but
And it's also really hard to hit, 13 to 16 given the amount of junk.
right, it's not easy to make money. I mean, Steph will have to have a vault eventually if he wants to have money, assuming he has a rune market.
Oh, apparently Infinite Hitbox is your dad, Nick.
Okay. Hi, Dad.
And Steph does not have a ruined market.
Yeah, so what does
Steph
what
is
does
not-
Steph even do here?
Resign button?
Yeah, I think he's pretty gone. I think
I guess he
essentially
can
needs
just
to
start
hope.
buying provinces, or is he going to try and do a torture?
Well, the thing is that if you go for torture, then I think he has to go for province.
Yeah.
I guess provinces and torture. I think he needs to sit down and he needs to pray that that GameSu does like 4 turns in a row,
Right.
something like that.
That he never has province in his starting hand and then draws them immediately with his first draw card. Because otherwise, this transmogrifiers are going to take care of business.
Yeah, like if Gamsu draws like province, 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 curse, curse, and then draws like transmogrify, 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 or something again. Like I don't know.
Which, just so everyone knows, Gamesu top decked a coin, a cultist, a torturer, and an outpost, and a green card. That's not in your guys' view, but
Yeah,
he's got a little bit of draw on top of the deck, so.
he's doing pretty well here.
Yeah, and Steph is still going to have turns that look like this.
Yeah, so it's going to be very difficult. Yeah, so that it's actually interesting to see a torturer coin come into play here.
I was
Yes.
worried after the initial shuffles that the potion opening wasn't going to be punished in any way. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like the scrying pools feel maybe closer to labs here than anything else, and just losing the curse, the rune split was also a pretty big deal.
yeah, there are labs that draw garbage.
I've been pretty consistently impressed with Cultist Coin of the Realm.
He's got a lot of coins on the mat now.
Yeah, which is pretty nice. And if you have coins on the mat, just Torture and Cultist become very, very good Dominion cards.
Yep.
So on 2? So the points he's up 12 points? Yeah, I'll just take another coin. And this means that if the game gets really messy and duchies start running, then you have an outlet for piling out. Yeah, so Titan Drake and QB.
I think it's
IST?
pronounced Quist.
Quist? Okay. I'll pretend that the V is U. Quist. Are saying that Scrying Pool is not good here, and it really feels like despite Steph getting some really good draws and getting a bunch of pools and cultists, that the Scrying Pools maybe would have been better served as Coin of the Realm plus Torture, Coin of the Realm plus Cultist.
Yeah. Here Steph is going to draw most of the deck again, but it gets him a province.
Did the players pick up, I think...
Did I freeze Gamesu's hand again? Whoops.
Yeah, he has 2 Transmogrifies and a Torture.
Sorry,
Mhm.
guys, if you wanted to look at 2 Transmogrifies and a Torture for the past couple minutes.
Mm-hmm. I wonder what the art ranking was on Torture as I look at Torturer for a few minutes. What is the art?
We need JSH.
Yeah, it's some guy. Oh man, do you look at that? He has like steel that's like red hot.
Yeah.
It's like wow. I would not want to be.
Plus,
friends
it
with
looks
that
like
guy.
the whole thing's metal, so presumably the handle is also just.
Man, I bet he buys really good gloves. I want to know where he gets
Yeah.
gloves. Like those things must be super insulated.
Also, I'm not sure what his workout routine is, but
Oh
he is
yeah, like look at that.
pretty
He has
jacked.
like a 4-pack or something.
Some number
I
of
didn't even
packs.
know that muscles look like that. Yeah, he has some number of packs.
Uh-oh, I have a thing that says reconnecting. I think that's maybe OBS.
Yeah, the player screens look good to me. The stream seems to be a little bit frozen right now.
Yeah, it froze. But it's back, I believe, now. Yeah, it's unfortunate that these shared screen things don't work quite the best for these kinds of streams, but
Mm-hmm.
Does New Dominion Online have a spectator mode?
it does.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I remember reading somewhere that you can watch the games of any player in progress, of any game in progress. It's pretty
Which will
nice.
make these things way easier to do
Uh-huh.
because someone can just have it all on their machine and not have
On
to
spectator.
be.
Yeah. So Steph actually does not have a coin on the mat right now, so he has to choose between Torture and Cultist. Currently has 6, so he wants to pick up 2 more.
Games 2, I believe, has a win in hand. I
Let's
believe
see.
he has 2 transmogrifies, and so that mills 2 provinces, and the Torture's enough to make the vault a province by. So
Nice.
it should be over after Game 2's next turn. We should just tell Steph. Just let him know. He doesn't need to agonize.
Yeah, I know that he does appreciate knowing when he's dead. Should we tell Gamesu as well? Probably not.
I mean, this is the part of a paper game where Game 2 would just show him the cards and then Steph would wrap it up, right? Like,
Yep.
can't do
Or,
that online.
online you just tell them and believe them because most of the people
Yeah.
are lying.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it looks like Gamesu sees it.
Yep. Take a curse, Steph.
It's actually interesting that you can take a curse to counter the vault. Well, not to counter the vault, but if you have vault in hand and you take a curse, the curse actually gives you +1 coin.
Right.
Steph says terrible it is.
Alright, so we're all tied up.
All tied up, and this is
Start for game 2.
third. No,
Nope, it's not.
this is third start for Steph's. This is Steph's last start. 2 events, Inheritance Training. Vineyards with the only buy being Artificer and the only draw being Sword of Guide.
Yeah, the draw is the hard thing here.
Yeah, so. And does anyone know if you inherit an estate, does it count toward vineyards?
It does.
It does, yeah. I remember having to fix the Goko Salvager point tracker in the game because when I initially did the integration, I didn't count it that way.
The other thing is you can. I guess the other interaction rules question here is if you inherit something that has the training token on it, you won't get that when you play
You
the
do not get
estates.
the +1 coin.
Right.
So you can use Artificer to gain estates easily for the
Right.
purposes of inheritance. So that's okay as far as gains go.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Artificer Inheritance Vineyard thing was the play.
Yeah, well, so I have to imagine that regardless of your strategy, you're going to be inheriting something, probably Wandering Minstrel.
Right.
And then you're kind of in this weird spot because you're constrained on the number of cards, like, because you're only going to have 5 cards in your hand regardless.
Chris's Me points out another interesting thing is that the estates count for vineyards, but also the card you set aside with inheritance counts
yeah,
towards
that was
the
a
vineyard as
third
well.
separate update on
So
the Goko
that-
Salvager code because I got that one wrong twice.
It goes to your deck at the very end of the game.
So sort of gotta imagine that the players are going to go for something that involves some number of monuments, definitely inheritance, probably on Wandering Minstrel,
Yep.
and then some number of artificers to gain estates. I'm not actually convinced that you need to get training here just because there's no plus buy. Although you could get training just to generate like 1,000,000 coins. Although at some point you're actually going to be going for vineyards, presumably. Maybe go for provinces. Um,
It never
so
hurts to, in this deck where you can't actually guarantee having the potion that often, um, it's not bad to be able to do both.
yeah, yeah, it could be some sort of
It's not the worst thing, at least.
the interesting thing is that in the end game, like the deck's power level sort of levels off. You know.
Yeah, I mean, at
It's not
no
like
point.
the Gaijins where you like triple province. It's just like, no, just play some stuff, gain a point for monument, play vineyards.
Yeah, yeah, you'd just be happy if you gain a card you like and
Hmm.
move the deck around a little bit. The
So the main divergence here is that Game 2 is elected to pick up a cut purse,
purse.
which is interesting.
I'm just not sure the price. I don't think Steph minds if he has to buy a 3/4 or a 5. I don't.
Right? Yeah.
I don't think he's sad at any of those points.
He will be
So
sad if it takes him off 7.
yeah,
Yeah. Although at some point, I think that you're gonna hit like loads of coins.
yeah. So it's true that if it takes him from 7 to 6, that's pretty painful.
I think you do just artificer here, right?
He probably top decks a guide or a minstrel.
Minstrel. Yeah, Minstrel's pretty safe, and it will just cycle through a bunch of the non-action stuff.
You can
See.
the guides are a little bit of cut purse defense.
Oh, what does Games do have here? Oh, not quite. Looks like he is 6.
Guide is quite a strong card, and it's sometimes hard to
He actually has,
see how good it is.
especially on this type of board where, you know.
It's a
Also,
good cycling.
Games 2 has put plus coin on Artificer. Interesting.
Hmm.
So I think 5 Artificers are out, so he probably has 2 then.
So Steph got to inheritance here.
Staff got to inheritance here. That's a big deal. Um, Gotta figure it's gonna be on Wandering Minstrel. It's just so flexible.
Yeah.
Guide and Monument are also possibilities.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of monuments to have at this point in the game, though.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I guess they just never had. They always opted for minstrels, but I'm a little surprised no one has a guide yet.
Yeah, Guide actually seems pretty. Like having 1 or 2 could be pretty good on a board like this. So Staff. You can only use Inheritance once per game, right?
Yeah, you
No.
don't get to change it later.
Not that you would want to do it again. So I suppose here you probably want to Artificer. I guess you could Artificer for like 3 or so, or 4. Gain like maybe like a monument or. Oh no, Steph can Artificer for 2 now, gain an estate.
Yeah, he's almost certainly going to be artificing for 2 almost all the time.
Yeah, gaining an estate. Because that's just like really good. And then you get to pile the estates. Let's see if it's for 2.
Yeah.
And then I think he wants to pick up an artificer here for
Yeah,
a
just
variety
buy
of
another
reasons.
I don't know when he puts in the potion. You may put the potion in pretty soon just because you don't get to see. Well, it's hard to. Actually, it's really hard to draw it sometimes with minstrels.
Yeah, I think that maybe because I think vineyards are going to be roughly as good as provinces here. So
He doesn't
I
have a lot of terminal actions, so the minstrel effect isn't that bad on the drawing the potion, since he mostly just once he's done drawing with the minstrels draws random cards. But if you have a lot of terminals, then having a lot of minstrels means you don't draw treasures as often.
I'm not
Not
sure.
not terminals, but non-drawing actions, I should say.
Yeah, so I might even be tempted to try and squeeze in a second monument somewhere. Maybe like maybe just go. What do you think of going like two or three monuments and then just playing provinces?
Um,
What like maybe you can even put
I
like
could
plus
see
one.
train something getting the provinces. Um,
Yeah, because even like adding provinces to your deck doesn't really slow it down. Maybe you can even artificer provinces like artificer for a monument at some point. See like so here Steph hits six. Let's see what he goes for.
I would keep taking artificers, I think, until
And then maybe plan to use artificer to. I definitely like monument on this board in general. Artificer is very good too. Okay, it looks like training, maybe.
I just don't see like the money. You don't need the money right now, I don't think. But you might be able to use the artificers to gain some stuff, and
Hmm.
um,
So
you could always
let's
have trained later. I mean, you're going to be able to hit six.
sort of looks like the players are preparing to switch into provinces relatively soon. Although the nice thing about artificers adding two is that means that you can hit if you play a couple of artificers, then you can then discard your hand to gain something,
Yeah,
and then pick up, like another card off just the
yeah,
training money.
yeah. I like training the artificers. I just don't know if I would have done it then
Hmm.
first step. Um, because I think you already have enough that you can probably discard and buy a guide. You know. Um,
Hmm. This cut purse is actually being annoying for stuff with all the like because it's slowing down the artificer.
hmm
I don't think it's. I think that the 5 points are certainly better for stuff than the copper discards, but it's certainly a thing.
So Steph's going to ta. No, he's getting a guide now. Okay.
Getting a guide, huh?
Yeah, he's tired of the cut purse screwing up his deck.
Yeah, start with five. Okay. And so two, he can buy an estate here.
He's gonna have more than two.
Oh, I see. Yeah, if he's doing this for.
Though I don't know. I wonder if he'll push up to where he triggers the shuffle.
Maybe he's going for province.
No shuffle.
He has seven. Probably another artificer. So that would make the artificer split, presumably 4 to 4.
I I'm not sure what else you would take.
I think I like the Artificer. I think I would have tried to squeeze in a second monument a little bit earlier. Um, the nice thing about having four Artificers in your deck. Oh, I guess he has the monument, but oh, is he taking the monument on? He's thinking about monument on 7. Wow.
That kind of makes him set up to play a much longer game, maybe.
Yeah, I would have tried to take the
Potentially,
monument.
that then he
couple
won't
turns.
touch the provinces. Or not until later.
I think I like getting the Artificer there and trying to gain the monument mid-turn, but I certainly respect the monument. Because it looks like GameSu should be pretty well set up to run the provinces. So do you think that this monument maybe signals some sort of vineyards nonsense?
That's what I was thinking, that Steph's not going to try and touch the provinces.
Because, yeah, could be.
That kind of makes his decision to train the artificer a bit stranger.
Hmm.
Right.
Because it looked like if you were going to train the artificers, then it would signal you, oh, hey, I'm trying to hit 8.
And it may just be adding the monument to try and catch up on those points while still going to the provinces. I'm not sure. It looks like
This sort of sequencing sort of suggests to me that maybe Steph had one plan and then
changed his mind.
Changed plans.
GameSuit can switch to doing vineyards whenever he wants, though. You know,
Mhm.
he's not locked into the provinces. He has just a ton of action cards, and
Wandering Minstrel in particular, like, really powers through.
yeah, and he has the artificer, so he can switch. I mean, if it looks like he isn't going to be able to empty the provinces, he can get vineyards.
See, so Steph is gonna have a pretty nice turn here. He's gonna be able to hit as many coins as he wants and gain. Maybe it looks like probably just the last estate with the Artificer.
Yeah.
Estate.
So now we'll find out if he's gonna follow on
So,
provinces.
is he gonna fight provinces?
He is. So I guess he's just hoping that the monument points catch him up.
Yeah, I think Steph does have the slightly better deck. So if GameSu's able to, like, suppose they, just as a benchmark, let's see what happens if they each play deck 3 turns in a row, right? So GameSu is going to be gaining 6 points a turn by just getting the provinces. Steph's going to be getting 8 from the 2 vineyards. So it'd be like 6, 8, 6, 8. So it looks like it's going to be
the 2 monuments.
Yeah, so in a straight race, it looks like it's going to be pretty close. Due to the monuments, although of course the fact that Steph's deck does more in a situation like this means that in any sort of game that goes longer, like Steph is going to have a pretty large edge.
I don't feel like Steph is more likely to fire, though.
Really?
I don't think that he has like a lot more minstrels or anything. He's got the guide. That's the only thing.
Well, he has 2 monuments to 0 sort of thing.
Right.
So the longer the game goes, like
Oh, I
if
mean,
they-
I agree about the length
Yeah.
part. I meant for the just whether they each are going to reach province.
oh,
on that
I
turn.
feel like that's pretty close.
Yeah. I mean,
The main thing that's different is that the longer the game goes, the bigger the VP token
Yeah.
lead stuff is going to get.
definitely.
I feel like on a board like this, I feel like monuments like almost required just because like the biggest turn you can have is just gaining like, either one card or two cards with Artificer, and throwing in a couple of VP tokens is pretty important.
Gamesu gained a monument
Okay,
there.
Game 2 goes for the monument. Okay. So that makes this. I think that's a really good plan. That makes this much more interesting. So Staff is thinking about just calling the guide to get a new grip. He does.
I don't know who has more regular minstrels, but Gamesu also has more estates.
He does?
Yeah, he has 5 to. Well,
Oh,
he has 8, but he has
153?
won that part 5-3, so he has a couple extra.
I think that now that he picked up the monument and can start somewhat equalizing the monument points, I think that that's a big deal.
If they both fire every time, they'll have to switch to some sort of alt VP dance.
Yeah, I think that this sort of game has the potential for really extended dances
Yeah.
because the ceiling on Vibes is really clear what it is. The decks are somewhat consistent. Like certainly they could be more consistent, but Wandering Minstrel really slows the pace of greening decay.
Yeah. If
So,
they each
If
had
there
a
are
couple
2 provinces left, it could you could see a lot of duchies
dance for a
being
while.
bought.
If they each had a few more guides, it would really be bad as far as the dancing ability. See,
So
here's
it's like Steph is
Steph
picking
switched to
up the
vineyards. How
I
many
don't
are
see-
those worth for him? But it's counting the point counter is counting them wrong.
Okay, well, so this is going to be really exciting because, yeah. So Steph started to type. Now nobody
Knows this is score.
Yeah, it makes our job a lot more difficult.
Yeah, so at the end it gets it right, but
But the temporary counter does not.
yeah, which is so weird. I don't know. Surely they're just the same thing. I mean, there's some things you have to do about deciding what is in or not in a deck at the end of the game, but
I hope that Steph elects to leave this feature in the new version.
mystery score.
Like this match is so much more exciting now that the lead can shift. Like we're on the edge of our seats here. So Making Fun is currently reporting 2-point vineyards for Steph. Let's do some counting. So
And he has 3 more action cards than it. He has 4 more action
he has-
cards than the.
He has 6 more than it thinks.
Oh right, yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna do a very scientific
Well, since
way.
actually we
See-
do know the score because the estates are a multiple of 3, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we just have to add 2 times the number of vineyards he has.
And he has the minstrel on that was inherited. We'll get
Oh,
to
right.
that.
Never mind, it's 7,
Yeah.
so forget what
Yeah.
I said.
So there are 25.
It's either
Counting is
it's either 2 or 3 times the number of vineyards he
counting
has.
estates. Counting estates, there are 25 action cards in play. If you split that among the 2 players, vineyards are going to be worth approximately 3 points. So yeah, 17. 25 action cards, and that'll
You
only
mean
go.
like approximately 4?
Wait, it's for every 3. Oh yeah, huh? Wow. Okay, approximately, like a 4.2 points. Okay. That makes more sense.
I mean,
was like, gosh.
Steph's vineyards are either at any moment either off per vineyard by a count of 2 or 3 points. So he either has, he has what, 3 vineyards now. So he's either has 9 points more or 6 points more than what it says. No, Gamesu bought a vineyard. Okay, well, So Steph either has 4 points more or 6 points more than
Okay,
this.
so SESN confirms that in the new version of Dominion, they're going to have a custom mystery score just for Nick and Day. Excellent. Thank you
That's
so much, SESN.
I believe
I'm glad you see the importance of features like this.
there are going to be a lot of special features for me.
Uh-huh.
My face is going to be in the new version of the crystal ball.
I think the silver pile is just going to start red.
Right. My version will have 0 silvers. in the
Yeah,
silver pile.
it's just like as soon as you buy 1 silver, it just goes red. There's only 39
Yeah,
left.
they're also all -1 point for me. I just have permanent. I have a permanent bandit fort landmark.
Bandit for it, absolutely.
at least for GameSu's vineyards, they're always worth 3 more because he has 8 estates and inherited cards. So that's
true.
easy.
That's true.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, no. So in my when I gave the total number of action cards, I didn't include starting estates.
Oh,
Um,
so it's even more.
so it's like 31. So okay, so they're going to be averaging around 5 points. 5 points going like on the way going up per player. So yeah, so the vineyards are pretty close to provinces here.
They tried to defeat us with this mystery score, but we were too smart. We can do basic math,
We can do
arithmetic.
Oh, yeah. It's funny, whenever I meet math majors in academia, they've gone so deep that they've lost the ability to do basic arithmetic.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, SCSM says it's about to reveal the best feature.
I can barely contain my excitement.
Your swindlers will trash your own cards and let your opponent pick a replacement. Oh gosh.
They're really going for the game of the century.
Oh man. Oh man.
That's a steep price to pay for your terminal silver.
Oh gosh.
But it's still worth it.
Still worth it. Alright, so in other news, GameStop has bought a silver here. And so GameStop has a nominal point lead, although one of the players is winning the vineyard split because there's an odd number of vineyards out.
Steph has
Also
two.
an odd number of potions out.
Steph has 2 vineyards and GameStop has 1. Now Steph has 3.
So you got to figure that the vineyards pile is going to run basically any time a potion's out. The points are close enough that it might be dangerous to take the second to last province.
GameSuit almost certainly can't take it because he's got to be behind.
Yeah,
he's down 3-1 on vineyards.
He's losing.
Yeah.
He might need to just go for it though at some point. If anyone in chat knows exactly what the score is, please fill us.
GameStop has
GameSuit's got to be down at least 4 points, right? Or now he's not, but
He's down.
GameStop has 2
He's down.
vineyards, and his vineyards are miscount by 3.
yeah,
So he has 6 more points.
yeah, and Steph has at least 6 more points.
Steph has 3 vineyards, and they're either off by 2 or 3. So he either has 6 or 9 more.
Yeah.
We can always add 3 times the number of vineyards they own for GameStop. 2 or 3 times the number of vineyards for Steph.
So if I was playing this particular match in League, I would actually write down the contents of each player's deck, and every time they gain a card or trash a card, I would either change the number or change the number of points,
Take a tally.
and then the turn before I was thinking about piling out, I would basically like stare at the piece of paper for like a minute and be like, okay, anything? Like, double check it.
Yeah, that's too much effort.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fun sometimes to get matched with the people who prefer the point counter off. Then it's because I just have it prefer but not require, I guess. So every once in a while I get to have a mystery.
One of these mystery games.
Yep. Most of the time, tracking the score is not
important.
Not important, and also pretty easy,
and not as difficult as this.
Yeah.
Not as difficult as like Inheritance Vineyards games.
And a lot of times, though, even in one of these games, you just know that you're ahead or behind without knowing the exact score.
Whereas here, I could definitely see someone piling out thinking they had a point lead, only to be like 2 points behind.
Yeah. Steph at least told GameSue that the thing was broken. If GameSue hadn't noticed,
was very sportsmanlike.
And it's out there in the world. So Steph has a guide.
Probably call the guide here.
Well, Steph wins if he buys this province, right?
Right. Yeah.
We don't know that, or do we?
I think we do, because he'll be down 2 points. And
how many vineyards does he have first? You're probably right.
He's up on the split. It's 4-2, Steph. So he's got at least 2 more points.
I've said this before. I'll say this again. I am not counting today.
I mean he'll at least have enough to overcome a 2 point deficit.
Yeah.
Oh man, does he?
No, that's just. Yeah, he has it now.
No, he has it. Yep.
Yep. So if he is sort of aware of this difference.
And the monument makes it even cleaner.
Yeah.
As far as the mental math goes.
Steph gets it by
just
one.
A point.
Wow.
I wonder if it wasn't as wrong as we thought it was. Like maybe it was correct on the set-aside card or something.
So GameSue actually had 6 point vineyards compared to Steph's 5. Interesting.
Well, yeah, because he did have 2 more estates, or 3. Yeah, 2 more estates.
Maybe the relative score counter. I'm not gonna bother. I'm not going there.
Apparently, Steph didn't figure out why GameSue's vineyards were worth more. Oh, then GameSue's gonna tell him. Okay.
You had 17 actions, so it was like 1 trade.
It's the estates.
There's no runes.
I think Steph knows.
Okay.
All right, so it's 2-1 for Steph now.
2-1 to Steph. GameSue has the advantage of getting to start every game from here on out, which is a pretty big deal.
We get to do everybody's favorite part. The dance looks pretty cool on the way I have this stream set up because I have cut out the log from Steph's screen separately from his play area. It's exciting when they do the Goku dance. It's not really exciting, but
it's pretty exciting.
I'm going to pretend like it is.
So SCSN is promoting a conspiracy theory that the point counter was 100% correct, and Steph was just trying to confuse GameSue.
I mean, Steph's pretty well known for his shady tactics and
his
all around moral degeneracy. So.
Ooh, black market. I would love to see a black market game here. Oh, it looks like okay. It looks like we have the correct starting player here on some sort of Navigator big money-ish board. Navigator tunnel, I mean. Yeah. What do you even do here? Looks like GameStop is electing to go for the Navigator tunnel thing, which is it's okay. It's not particularly strong.
I really dislike the tunnel strats with the where you just kind of look at the top of the deck.
Mm-hmm.
They're really hard to.
Because you end up
You don't have very much control over that.
control over when you hit 8. It looks like so it looks like interesting.
I mean, what's the alternative to playing here?
Just,
Like,
just like
So
Swamp
staff
Hag
is
money.
open, silver, swamp hag.
I mean, you have these
So
tunnels, and you're not going to activate them that often.
yeah, the problem with Navigator Tunnel is that like you can gain gold with it fairly efficiently. Probably second Navigator, yeah. But trying to hit 8 in a deck full of Navigators and Tunnels and green cards is pretty
Yeah.
hard.
It's it's not good at it's not particularly good at activating the tunnels, and it's terrible at using the golds basically. Compared to all the like draw and discard cards, which are the best tunnel navigators or activators by far.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Warehouse Tunnel is excellent,
because
particularly if you're playing with runes and get to trash the hollow
because
one.
those cards are actually also good with the golds that you have in the deck then at
Mhm.
that point. Um, and they all have larger search spaces too for discarding.
And I think here the fact that so games you just triggered double gold, which is actually a pretty big game for him. A lot of the Navigator Tunnel also tends to be pretty high variance because you're really relying on shuffles to, help you first of all connect Navigator with Tunnel, and then secondly you have a deck full of Tunnels, Navigators, and golds, and just like getting 8 out of that. Um,
Yeah,
yes.
I really dislike top deck where it's just top deck inspection tunnel cards or tunnel
Mhm.
activators. I think that it's awful to go for those, but people do it all the time.
Yeah, I think I think I would play something similar to what Steph is doing. I might even open with a Navigator Silver or something. I guess Swamp Hag is probably the best terminal on the board. Alright, but looks like
Steph's team viewer is
Steph
really
is picking
slowing
up a
down.
province here. And Steph has taken the only curse of the game. Game 2's turns are going so incredibly fast that it's hard to follow exactly what's going on his side.
Yeah, unfortunately with the navigators the way I have the stream set up, um we don't get to see his navigator plays. If Steph were the one going for the tunnels, then we would, but
Mm-hmm.
we just have to. He got to hit 2 tunnels there, though.
Hmm.
2 tunnels is
Yeah,
a big-
the team viewer has become pretty choppy on my end.
yeah, it's certainly gotten more choppy. So here, the way the game is played out, Game 2 might be pretty well like the Navigator Tunnel thing, although not particularly strong at spiking 8. It is, if the game goes long here, the fact that he just has a bigger deck is going to give him an edge in this sort of sloggy game. And he does hit 8 here, Steph. Seems.
Atta
And Steph
Alright.
picks up the province to lower the point deficit. So Navigator Tunnel worked out there for Game 2. I would say largely because the game turned into something that was pretty sloggy.
I have to take all my harsh words of the Tunnel Navigator back.
Uh
I couldn't actually tell what was going on at all that game, but
huh.
Well, luckily we weren't missing any incredible decision making.
I think
Ooh, ambassador. Can we keep this one?
we're
please?
seeing the big difference, and we do get to keep it.
Woo!
So
Ooh, expedition navigator 5-2. All right, I like this one.
I messed up.
Oh, did they mess up?
No, I messed up Game Sue's.
Oh, okay.
I keep messing up Game Sue's hand.
I like this one.
Well, you can. I guess stuff's gonna open junk dealer. What?
Like maybe.
Coin or.
The thing with Fool's Gold is that the draw is hunting party, so it makes Fool's Gold less appealing.
Yeah. It wouldn't be a
Like-
big deal if there were a cantrip that wasn't a mandatory trasher. Because I mean, you can pick up the discarded cards from your hunting parties at the end if you have some cantrips.
Okay, so Mick, I'm gonna ask just one question about this.
Yes.
Do you think we're gonna see Giant?
It's yeah. I would play with it here.
All right,
I think.
I would like to see Giant. Let's see. So interesting.
I mean, trashing hunting parties is great. And,
Yeah, we knock him down. So GameStop actually doesn't know that Steph has 5-2, which is interesting. He's probably just going to open Ambassador because on 3-4, like Ambassador Silver, more likely Ambassador. And now that he knows that Steph has 5-2, what's his play? Ambassador.
Double, yeah.
Okay. Can you even consider something like Ambassador Expedition there, or something interesting?
Yeah.
So GameStop collides Ambassadors with 3 copper, which is
Pretty awful.
one of the roughest openings you can have because it means his next hand isn't going to be that strong. So Steph looks like he's going to hit 4, which is like maybe Ambassador or Silver. I think he probably wants to pick up 1 Ambassador, and he does. So Steph is going to get really thin here with also with a little bit of economy. So you can like,
He can even get a hunting party here.
oh yeah. Although he's looking at, I think he should trash. Oh, I guess he needs to trash an estate, yeah, in order to pick up a 5. So that's probably correct.
I can't decide whether you want to play with the Fool's Golds here or not. You can. It's certainly possible with a stack of hunting parties to draw multiple Fool's Golds, even, though you toss a bunch of them.
I think I prefer playing with something like Giant
Just
over
the Giants, yeah.
over the Fool's Gold. Because even if the Giants miss, they give out curses, which can really punish decks that aren't particularly built up. And if you Giant someone enough, they just don't have hunting parties. GameStop might be sort of forced into the Fool's Gold here because he's getting a bunch of low economy hands.
I mean, when you do the Ambam opening, you're almost guaranteed you're going to have to do the Fool's Gold.
Yeah, because you can Ambassador 2 cards and have 2 copper left over.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, you'll never buy a 5.
So Steph looks to have pretty good control over his deck and such.
He's not going to play this. Well, he might. It would leave 2 coppers on top.
Some coppers on top, which is it's okay. I would probably
It gets
play.
him to a 5, and it gets more junk out of his deck.
Yeah, I think you need to deal with junk here.
So leaving the it was more than that.
Oh, 4? Ooh, that's not good.
It still is probably worth getting in the attack. I wonder if he'll return 2 or 1 here. He can expedition as well. You might want to return 2 and expedition.
It's quite interesting. Looks like he's going for a 5.
And he can also get the hunting party. Probably you train the hunting parties and then you have giants, and that's plenty of economy for you.
Could also, at this point, Outpost is looking kind of interesting. He's pretty thin.
Yeah, he's pretty close to putting in an outpost, I would imagine.
Because if you outpost, you can even expedition your outpost turns if you feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
Which you probably don't need to do, but it's looking real good.
Yeah, Gamesoo's in a rough spot.
Ambassador.
Not because his deck is that bad, because it's okay, but it's just he's behind.
I think opening Junk Dealer and getting like the +1 coin just gets the economy going much faster.
Yeah.
Okay, training on Hunting Party. Okay. So that's actually going to let Steph... Gamesoo is 5 here, which is quite nice. Training on Hunting Party means that Steph is going to be able to aggressively...
If only there were apprentices here, he could take those instead of hunting parties. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah. Also, now he's going to be able to get rid of most of his copper. I think I like... Oh, I definitely like Outpost here. Yeah.
Yeah, this looks
This is...
pretty well decided.
Gamesoo goes for Herbalist, which is interesting. Okay. So if Steph, returns 2 copper, buys a Hunting Party, he's almost guaranteed to hit on his outpost turn. And even if he misses, he can presumably pick up an Herbalist. Or a coin. Either of which would be fine in his deck.
He's not... Well, I guess if he picks up loose coins, he's not quite... Oh, he is adding the Herbalist, okay.
It also lines up perfectly with his... he can play Outpost, Ambassador, and Herbalist in the same turn.
I just lost my Team Fear, so... Sorry,
So-
stream.
Goodbye, stream.
Dan and Infinite Box are going to have... Infinite Hitbox are going to have to play-by-play it for you. Pretend we're radio.
Okay. Couple of Fool's Gold getting played. Staff has like a million hunting parties. Looks like Staff is hitting 7 here. He should call the coin. Ambassador looks like he's hanging on to the copper.
Alright, so Steph's hand is back. Now I just need to get Gamesoo.
I think I like coin Hunting Party.
I mean, it must be what he was planning on, because otherwise there's no reason to keep the copper, yeah.
Well, so you could actually keep the copper just to have something to give with Ambassador.
Oh, on your outpost turn, because surely he expects to be getting something back.
Yeah, I think that Staff actually has something like 4 hunting parties in the top 6 cards of his deck, so his next turn is apt to be pretty good. Actually, I could pretty easily see picking up a curse here, given the amount that Steph's overdrawing. And it's not clear that Gamesoo can take all the pressure from curses. I think Copper is a winning line too, of course.
Fool's Gold?
Wait, Steph goes for 2 copies of Fool's Gold?
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, he does know that he's super overdrawing with Hunting Party, so if he figures that he can pick both of them up, um,
Yeah, I guess it is, given his deck state, the easiest way to get to Province plus something else he wants to do.
yeah, it also leads to an interesting, like it lets him getting two Fool's Gold means that immediately he's going to have plus, what is it, plus 5 points of income, which
Yeah.
lets him go hard on the hunting parties, and that leads to a deck state where he can go really hard on hunting parties and Fool's Golds, which lowers the piles to a point where the game is going to end relatively quickly.
Also, you just know you won't lose when you have 8 Fool's Gold or 8 hunting parties.
Yeah, when you have eight
Yeah.
hunting parties and you're hitting like 16.
Eight trained hunting parties. I mean, I guess he doesn't have 8, he has
Oh,
7, but-
that's sort of the ambassador. Okay.
He's about to have an eighth.
right,
So he
yeah.
might go. I think here, yeah, you just sort of, yeah, he's just gonna
Yeah.
provinces at this point.
I did get the hands back up, so they can see what you're talking about.
Excellent. So now, so Steph no longer has his ambassador, but he can get rid of junk with his junk dealer.
Those more extra Fool's Golds don't actually do all that much for Game Sue.
Yeah, I think Game Sue's reduced to like playing like Fool's Gold Big Money.
Well, yeah, I mean, GameStop only has 2 hunting parties, so at this point he's just going to try and load up his starting hand with them, I guess. He's not going to draw them any other way.
Yeah.
Draw anything any other way.
Steph is looking fairly unlikely to dud. There's 15. Maybe he picks up like a venture or gold or something just to try and hit 16. I guess he could also go expedition.
I hope he adds something to get him to 16. I wish he still
Oh.
had the ambassador
Oh,
so
he
he
still has
could.
outpost. Wow, so he has like massive turns.
Yeah.
So 16 would actually let him buy 4 provinces a turn.
Yeah. Though his outpost turn, as you see, is not always gonna
It's only
pan
one.
out.
Yeah. I wonder if he picks up like a coin or something. I guess he doesn't need it.
I think he only wants the one because he just plays it on his outpost turn
Mm-hmm.
to get it back because he only uses the actions on his non-outpost turn.
Steph did pick up a 3rd Fool's Gold, right, though? I believe.
Steph
Okay.
is requesting a resignation.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say that was very impoli by Steph.
One of the most impoli actions I've ever.
Yeah, it was, and
I mean-
that's the first time I've ever called something impoli.
It's not like the game was going to take that much longer. I mean, he only needed like
Yeah.
two,
Yeah, if you're
two
gonna
more
write
of
that,
his-
write that when you buy your 8th hunting
Oh
party.
wow,
Yeah.
wow! Do we have 5/2 openings on a doctor board for both players?
We do. They're
Uh,
2/5, so they're a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Worse.
2/5. Oh man, I was just counting all the runes. I'm like, they have all 3 runes.
Shelters.
So if you and does anyone know if the feature is implemented where a mixed swindler actually trashes his own deck? in this way?
I'm not playing, so
Oh, okay, good.
Well, Steph might be testing it. You know.
Yeah,
Gotta do QA
Yeah,
for it.
probably testing. So swindler's big here. I think doctor is also well. There's also ambassador. Oh, sorry about that. There's also ambassador as well. I think one thing that's very clear about this board is that minion is going to be the draw.
Yeah.
I'd be curious. Games goes for the Doctor overpay and trashes 2 runes.
So that's a
It's a
nice
pretty good
doctor
hit.
for him. And it was the 2 good runes. I mean, the 2 bad runes.
The 2 bad runes.
They're shelters,
Oh,
not
yeah.
ruins. Come on now.
Dan got it into my head. I blame him.
Uh-huh. So Steph just goes with the minion. Interesting.
There's a nice Doctor Squire thing you can do if you know that there's a Squire on top, and you have trash to your as much as you want to get another minion. But maybe somebody already said that. I wasn't.
Yeah, you can doctor the squires.
Yep.
So if you skip doctor, I think you definitely need the ambassador, yeah.
Yep. Steph grabbed one.
And I think eventually you just sort of hope that your opponent picks up a swindler and gets rid of your runes, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have a doctor, you can't really get rid of your shelters. Shelters.
Sorry, shelter. So that mission was actually pretty nice for Steph because it let him. He still got to ambassador despite needing to take a mission turn. So
DG mentions embargoing on minion to make it interesting. Well, you could just gain them with squires then, which would.
as commentators, can we just like embargo the minion? Can we type that in chat? That should be a feature in 2017 Dominion for sure.
Just to have commentators impose arbitrary conditions on the game.
Yeah, commentators being like, we need to make this game interesting. Commentator embargoes, I like it. See, because as commentators, we can't even give the players curses right now, which is like totally ridiculous. Okay. Is this game 5 or game 6?
I don't actually know.
Because I thought it was game 5, but the wins column makes it look like this game is game 6.
Oh, well, you have to remember there was that big money game in there too, which you probably forgot about already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably the last game. Was that the hunting party? Oh, it was the Navigator.
Yeah.
The Navigator game. Yeah, that game was so fast. Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
okay. So this is game 6 actually. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the last one. So currently 0 swindlers have been bought, which is interesting. Is Steph now mouses over a swindler?
They're just trying to make me sad. Skipping the swindlers.
Maybe it could be that SCSN has scared them off. Maybe they think that they're going to swindle their own stuff.
Well, now that GameSu's hitting 5, he's just taking minion after minion. Steph missing 5, I guess, goes for Swindler.
Mm-hmm. And I think that Swindler is certainly better for Steph because GameSu's only because if Swindler hits Ruin, it's actually pretty bad for you, and Steph has three shelter. Steph has
Yeah.
three shelters in his deck.
Has anyone been able to pull off the Squire trick?
Mm,
No. But GameSu's Doctor has been very effective so far, clearing out everything.
Oh, like the opening was excellent.
And then he hit 3 coppers on his first name, and he just cleared out another 2, so it's been very good.
Ironworks is a little. I mean, it's okay to get Oases, but
Or Swindlers.
yeah.
So Steph hits Oasis. It's interesting that he's looking at Silver. I'm wondering about a second Doctor as well. Steph really wants his Swindler to hit Minion.
Gamesu minion into not a very good hand.
No, not at all.
I would name Squire as him.
Gets the
He
copper.
gets a copper though, that's nice.
Oasis.
I don't really know if he had a lot of coppers left, so maybe copper name is a lot better than Squire name.
This is an awkward hand for Steph. And he goes Swindler. He gets Oasis. Is he gonna? He's debating between Doctor and Silver. Goes with the Doctor this time. Picks up the minion. One minion left in supply.
Which Gamesu will be able to get. In fact, he's going to be able to pick it up and something else probably.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow, he's having a really nice turn. See if he can dodge the shelters. Copper to curse, not bad.
I wonder, he's not auto clicking curse, so I wonder if he's a little bit worried about the ambassador. Though it'd be hard for Steph to line up the ambassador with the curse, except, by luck. He doesn't have a lot of control over that.
Has he even played his ambassador? At this, I mean, he played it once at the beginning. Has he even played it since then?
I'm not sure. Doesn't seem like he has 7 coppers still in his deck. So
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't seem like he has even 5 coppers left in his deck, but
Okay.
I guess it depends on what. Yeah, he only has a couple coppers
Yeah,
left.
yeah.
So he must have played it at least a couple, because he only has like, one curse and one copper left. So
This would be hard for Steph to win, I think. Though, if they just start buying provinces, if he keeps up, then someone can have
also,
a dead
if his Swindler's pretty swingy, so if he starts swindling stuff, like say he's going for a double Swindler,
hand. Yeah.
that would be pretty reasonable. Oh, is he going for a mission? Not sure.
What would he be attempting to accomplish? Just swindle more stuff?
And ambassador.
So now that he's picking up the Ironworks, it looks like he's intending to like mission and just like swindle and make this as messy and as high variance as possible. I think Steph has a lot of Steph has 1 minion in his top 5, I think.
I'm actually pretty surprised Gamesu hasn't Ironworks for an ambassador yet. Because he actually does have enough minions that he can probably pair it with junk somewhat consistently.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what this Swindler hits.
Plus, he's got all these doctors, right? So he can get rid of them.
Well, so to be clear here, Steph did ask for Gamesu's doctor. So.
Right. Yeah. Just being friendly.
It would only be Poli for Gamesu to send him.
There, the Swindler hit one of those infamous ruins.
Yeah. Even gave Steph a card.
Yeah.
Now he can attack with minion again.
Yeah.
Except he's out of actions, but
the ruin wasn't even a ruined market either. It's an overgrown estate.
I was gonna say I don't see much reason to delay provinces.
And he does grab the ambassador now.
So interesting.
Steph decided to keep the other minion in the shuffle.
And so, do you think he just like? Okay, doctor, right to doc, or to silver. Okay.
This is a really bad hand for Steph, or turn for Steph, though.
Oh, absolutely. I would actually strongly consider Ironworksing for a state just to like hope to pick up a minion.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Now he adds 2 more squires. I don't think those help him.
No. Looking really good for games too.
No.
Steph's real chance here is to basically like swindle minions.
Yeah, and also you can have those things with minions where one person suddenly has 4 dud turns in a row and the other person manages to always have minion.
So Steph, yeah.
He would have to get
definitely
lucky.
A chance for it to slip out of Gamesu's hands.
Yeah, he would have to get lucky. The Swindlers are double-edged sword too, because they can speed the end up as well by hitting provinces. And
although one thing that's scary for Steph is that it's starting to get to the point where if he swindles minions into duchies, the points are actually starting to become pretty relevant.
Yeah.
The minions are gone, the oases are running, and third pile could be
Squire is pretty close.
Yeah, Squire's low as well.
Yeah, I think it would take a lot of luck for Steph to come back here.
Mm-hmm.
He's still not even hitting provinces, so. Gamesu should send him a message requesting him to resign.
Although I think in this game, I think that there is a universe in which this game is winnable for Steph.
Maybe.
Well, I think if he could, I think if you were able to stack your opponent's deck, either player could win this one.
Interesting exercise, but
Yeah.
That is one for the puzzle subforum.
sadly, as commentators, we cannot stack their decks either.
Next
SCSN,
version.
SCSN and Steph need to get on that.
There go the minions.
Okay, well, so in terms of things that need to go right, this is like the first
This is
thing.
the start.
Series 6, yeah.
Then the next
It's-
swindler he plays, the next 2 swindlers he plays hit provinces.
No, don't hit end turn.
He had to as his mission.
It was a
turn.
mission turn.
Oh no. Okay, yeah, that's Province is a slightly better card than the rune named Hovel.
I would give Steph a doctor. See, it's like GameStew's pushing for. He gave Steph a swindler like as a way of pushing towards the end of the game, but
At this point, Steph already has a lot more swindlers than he needs. So
Yeah, and Steph still doesn't have a doctor, so I guess the giving him a doctor might open up some trashing possibilities.
it would be so hard to hit with the doctor unless
Yeah.
unless you knew like you came the end of your deck or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I suppose quite directly, the Swindler pile is pretty low. And Game 2 is a 17-point lead, so I like it. So SCSN actually claims that Steph has been stacking his deck for years. I think that that's definitely another feature that we need to implement in the online client. Maybe it'll allow you to actually physically shuffle your own deck.
wow, he just hit 2 of the minions with
Oh.
those swindlers.
Turns them
And
into
repli-
villages.
We're still rushing towards a pile out here, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, only 3 left.
That Ironworks turns up, and if he hits a squire with buys, it could be gone. Or another swindler hit a 3.
It's a good point, yeah. Chat is getting pretty funny right now. So this is where the game gets pretty messy.
and he hits the pillage he gave him. Not what he wanted to see.
And Steph goes for the resign.
Design.
So good
So-
game. Well played.
The final result was 3-3, although Steph had won after the
After the
first
game.
one. But good games. Well, Steph killed our view of the.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoy
The
this
screen again.
gray screen ending. Thank you everybody for tuning
Thank you
in.
for watching.
Thanks for commenting, guys.
Yeah.
And sorry everyone if the stream quality was a bit low. But that's life. So you guys have anything else you want to say before we sign off? Congrats
shout out.
congrats to Steph.
Congrats to
Yeah.
Steph. And also to both players for a 3-3 finish. I guess we can mention that Season 17 signups are open right now.
Yep.
As everyone knows. And JSH put together a Discord channel that you can find either on f.ds or on Reddit. And it's pretty fun. People are, chatting and playing Dominion in there, so come check it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have already ran a couple impromptu tournaments,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a lot of fun. So, all right. Well, I will sign off now. Thank you all for watching.
See ya.
See ya.